What's good, everybody? What's going on? I am Winston A. Marshall, aka the Swaggy Blerd, and this is the Blerd Breakdown, the pop culture show for when you need to know. See, what had happened was. Now, if this is your first time here, please be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, man, so you know when I'm dropping new content. And as you're watching this video, man, be sure to get in the comments, like this, all that good stuff. I would greatly appreciate it if you would let me know what you're feeling about the entire thing. For those that it's their first time here, this show really does focus on all the things that are kind of pop culture. I've in the past done some political stuff with that, but I think what I'm going to do as far as that goes, because there has been some stuff going on recently, I'm going to save that for a completely different show that I will do. So that way, look, if you just want the news stuff, if you just want like the memes and all that, you can focus on that on this show. And if you want to watch my political shit, you can, but you don't have to do all that unless there's something that they cross-pollinate and all that good stuff. But today, I am focused on a lot of nerdy stuff. We're doing a follow-up to the Neil Gaiman situation. He has spoken out about the allegations, so we will talk about what he has to say. We've got justice for a Packers fan dealing with a bullshit-ass Eagles fan. We're going to talk about the Mike McCarthy firing again, because now we're going to talk about the top 5 potential coaching candidates that could replace him. And then other than that, we've also got our top, X-Men, live action X-Men, an update about what kind of went on there. But more importantly, man, let's talk about the show, the thing that's going to start the show. And we got to talk about Black Panther. Now, for those that didn't already know, rumor has it that T'Challa's return to the MCU has potentially been revealed. All right, give me 1 second. I did not put the story in my face like I should have, which was silly of me. But I got it right here now. So, the rumor has it that we now know when the new T'Challa / Black Panther will make his MCU debut. This is Josh Wilding over at Comic Book Movie. Black Panther has dominated headlines this week, and it all started when the news broke that Marvel Studios is reportedly looking to cast a new T'Challa, with the prevailing theory being that the multiverse saga will somehow age up Black Panther Wakanda Forever's Toussaint. Messing that up. Regardless of whether it's T'Challa 2 or a multiversal variant, the news that Black Panther will live to fight another day has pleased most fans. Following in the late Chadwick Boseman's footsteps will not be easy, but the majority seem ready to see another actor honor his and the character's legacy. After revealing some names Marvel Studios is eyeing for the MCU's T'Challa yesterday, Scooper, My Time to Shine, hello, today brings word that the new T'Challa will first appear in the Avengers movies and then in Black Panther 3. So as expected, there's likely a multiversal element at play. Whether it's the future Toussaint or a Black Panther from an alternate reality, Avengers Secret Wars rumored reset looks set to establish the hero in time for Black Panther 3. It's also somewhat fitting that the Russo brothers be the ones to reintroduce T'Challa in Avengers Doomsday, as it was in 2016's Captain America Civil War that Boseman made his unforgettable debut as the hero. In 2022, filmmaker Ryan Coogler said this about the possibility of recasting the role. You consider everything when something like that happens. It's like, I don't think I can come back and make another one. I don't think I can do this. I don't think there should be another movie. You go through all of the extremes. For me to say we considered recasting as an option, that's a complicated thing even to say, because like with these movies, just like my job as a director, I don't think people fully appreciate a job that is not their own. But the true day-to-day of my job is several hundred days of long days of getting other professionals to believe in ideas I find truthful. That's what my job is. I have to believe in something enough to go convince other professionals to believe in it as well for an extended period of time. And the moment I stop believing what I'm doing, whatever end product that I'm putting out is cooked. It's done. It has to be truthful for me. And if there's any element of nope for me in the process, it's my job to weed that out. My truth is Chadwick is gone from in the physical sense. He wasn't walking through that door, and the world that we created over the years, he was the guy. So for someone else to be him, for us in the world that we created, we wouldn't have believed it. No matter how good the actor was, no matter, it would have been lacking the necessary truth for us to do a good job. And truth is the well we pull from as artists. Our truth was lost, which is a fact of life. It's the gift and curse of life. Heroes and great men die. It makes sense that T'Challa wasn't simply replaced in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, but from the moment we met young T'Challa 2, it was obvious Marvel Studios planned to have Shuri eventually pass the mantle on to her nephew. All right. So, couple of things, man. Let's talk about it, and then we have a second part of this story. I will preemptively do no, we'll just wait. That's fine. I will just close these. Sorry. Didn't have time to set my buttons up. It makes life a little easier. And get rid of that. Okay, so reading that, I both, it makes a lot of sense. I think it's very serendipitous to have the Russos reintroduce T'Challa. I can't think of a better directors to do that. They did such a good job the first time and really kind of setting that up while it was being flushed out for the Black Panther movie with Ryan Coogler. So I think that is a wonderful way to kind of have this echo and kind of come back around, right? But I think what was most important for me was to really have people hear Ryan's reasoning. I said it then. I understand what people are saying about, like, you don't get rid of T'Challa. He's too big. He's too important to Black people, to the Marvel universe as a whole. There's so much there. I fully understand that. But I think the thing that people were forgetting above all else, yes, we were grieving the loss of a fantastic actor and this man that brought T'Challa to life for us. But can you imagine, like, for those of you that have never worked on a film or you've never been in theater before, working on art like that on a large scale, a large show, a movie, a TV show, whatever the fuck it is, you become a family, literally. That is your family. That's why whenever you hear about drama on sets, it tends to be so heightened because you were spending such intimate time together. To have somebody be an asshole or do whatever egregious things really F's with you. So I say all that to say that I always thought that they needed to give them, if this movie wasn't going to be pushed for years, they needed to give space for this cast, for this crew to grieve their friend, to grieve their brother, their son, their cousin, because that is what they needed. They lost their king, and that because that he is the cornerstone of these movies, of this world, man. And so what I didn't like, and what I have come back to say, that was always a problem, it wasn't necessarily feeling like it was coming from this cast and this crew that they never wanted T'Challa back. It seemed like it was coming from like a Feige type situation or Disney as a whole. We're done with T'Challa. We're not going to mess with T'Challa anymore. That bothered me. That bothered me to an extreme. And that's why I'll say it again. I said on the last time we talked about this, I think it was last episode, my plan or my idea for what this movie would look like is you have a similar thing where you have T'Challa die. You could show him in, or you show him in just the habit. You don't actually see Chadwick's face, and he's fighting, and Shuri's running support or whatever, and then in the middle of the fight something goes wrong, and the feed cuts, and it's just brother, and then it's like, what the fuck? And then he's gone, and you play the movie the rest of the way that you saw it. The whole world just assumes that the Black Panther is dead, nobody can find the body, whatever. You play the movie out, you get to the post-credit scene, and when Shuri is finally accepted that she is now the Queen of Wakanda, and she has to take on the mantle and carry that legacy, and she's put her anger behind her and all that kind of stuff, you have her look up, and there in a torn up habit or whatever, you just see a dirty shoulder shot and over the shoulder looking at Shuri, and she just goes, brother, and then boom, end of movie. You recast when you're ready for Black Panther 3 or wherever you need to put him back in from that. That gives you the same runway for this cast and crew and anybody that was feeling some type of way to grieve and give legacy honor to him and see your female Black Panther. But then you allow we have made it clear that the door is not closed. This story just evolved to it is not this right now. It is not T'Challa right now. It's just, it is what it is. I think that would have been the way to go, but again, I'm not the one in charge. I'm also was not the one grieving the way that Ryan and this cast and crew were. So, they saw things differently. People have different ideas, stuff like that. And maybe that was something they thought about it and they were like, that shit ain't gonna work. whatever it is, I don't know, man, but that we got what we got. I'm just glad to hear that this is being reminded as to why this happened in the first place. And now we're moving forward. And now we are moving forward and giving everybody what they deserve. And that is a T'Challa for all, man. And Chadwick wouldn't have wanted it any other way. He would have wanted the character to continue to live on. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it next. I hate that it took this long for us to get here, but I'm glad that we are figuring all of this out. Let me know what you think down in the comments, man. I would greatly appreciate hearing what your thoughts are on all of this. I almost forgot, we do have a little bit of a super chat goal here. Let me go ahead and pull this up. If we hit, and this will include, this includes super thanks as well. But if we hit, it's what, 45 minutes now. If we hit 15 of the Streamlabs or super chats / super thanks, I will wear Commanders gear and, you know, do Hail the Commanders and all that stuff during their playoff game. But if we hit 30, God help us, I will wear Eagles gear during their game, and I will do all the Fly Eagles Fly and all that bullshit the whole fucking time it's going on. So let me put that in here. Oh, boy. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. It's fucking terrible. But either way, man, again, I'm happy to be here with y'all. I'm happy to Snoop Dogg is the new Black Panther. Yeah, fuck no. Snoop's ass is too old and too high to be no goddamn Black Panther. But either way, I'm very excited about it. But let's jump into some more news about who is potentially on the docket here. So, we got another report from Mark Cassidy over at Comic Book Movie to pair with Josh Wilding's story. Just kidding. These are both Josh Wilding. The Black Panther movie has 3 actors that Marvel Studios has considered for the MCU's new T'Challa reveal. Now, with rumors continuing to swirl about Marvel Studios' plan to cast a new T'Challa for the MCU, we may finally have a clear idea of who will lead the Black Panther franchise moving forward. Earlier this week, you might have seen some social media chatter about a random YouTube channel plucking a few different names out of a hat. Well, today we have word from a scooper with a proven track record, My Time to Shine Hello, and while we'd recommend taking this with a pinch of salt for now, our sources say there may be something to this. According to the prolific leaker, some of the actors Marvel Studios is or was considering to play new T'Challa are John David Washington, Kelvin Harrison Jr., and Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Aaron Pierre. That's Mufasa. Aaron Pierre. That's Jon Stewart, man. I don't think that's happening now. Washington, the son of screen icon Denzel Washington, is best known for starring in Tenet, The Creator, and The Piano Lesson. Harrison Jr., meanwhile, most recently lent his talents to Mufasa, The Lion King, and has received widespread acclaim for his work in Waves and Cavalier. Perhaps the most interesting name on that list is Pierre, especially as the Rebel Ridge star, which I really enjoyed that movie except for the ending. I haven't done a review on it, but maybe I should. Was recently cast as the DCU's Jon Stewart in Lanterns. We'd imagine that's taken him out of the running, and he may be the mystery actor who turned Marvel Studios down last year. Following Chadwick Boseman's passing, Black Panther Wakanda Forever killed the MCU's T'Challa, with his sister Shuri inheriting the mantle. For now, she'll continue to serve in the role, but who knows what sort of multiversal madness will lead to the original Black Panther's return. Letitia Wright was asked about her MCU future late last year, and despite playing coy, all but confirmed that she'll return to the role of Shuri soon. If it's let's just say the actor T is clearly choosing her words carefully, I would like to continue with Shuri. She's one of my favorite characters, such a blessing. Honestly, I kid you not, I'm so grateful for her. There's a lot coming up. Since that interview, Denzel Washington has revealed that he will star in Black Panther 3. Marvel Studios, meanwhile, further confirmed that the threequel is in the works when producer Nate Moore's exit from the studio was announced. Nearly everything I know about producing I've learned from my time at Marvel Studios, he said last month, addressing his departure. I feel lucky to have worked with a group of people who love filmmaking and storytelling as much as my Marvel colleagues and the cast and crew of our films. More added, but I couldn't be more excited to apply my experience and passion for film towards theatrical movies in all genres, including returning to the world of Wakanda for Black Panther 3. The next Black Panther movie is expected to be released after Avengers Secret Wars. Okay. All right. So yeah, hearing those names, man. Again, I'm a big fan of John David Washington. I think he would be absolutely fantastic in the role. I think he's got the chops. Kelvin Harrison Jr. I believe he lent his voice for Scar. I could be wrong about that, but let me double check here. Let's see. Oh, he was an Elvis. Interesting. Yep, he was Taka. He was Scar. So he was in Elvis, The Trial of Chicago 7 as Fred Hampton. He's been working, man. He's been working. So I'll give him credit. I'm not familiar with his game like that. I mean, voice wise, he was good as Scar, but um, I could see it. I could certainly see it. He wouldn't be my immediate first pick, and it's not for him being an unattractive dude or not a good actor or anything like that. But it's not where my head would be at. Aaron Pierre, that's Mufasa. He obviously is tied up with Jon Stewart, and I think that'd be kind of crazy and a little greedy to be like, I'm going to be Jon Stewart and T'Challa. As talented as he is, we don't need to do all that. My number one draft pick still stands with Aldous Hodge. I think that he would be absolutely fantastic at it. He's a very strong actor. I like the idea of having a darker T'Challa. Let me pull up Aldous Hodge. As he should be closer to closer to the idea of just being from Africa. Now that you don't have light skinned folks down there, of course you do, but I just think there's something to it. Any black folk kind of know what I'm talking about here. But yeah, I think that he would absolutely crush it, man. And I hope we get to see him take on the role. But again, there is a litany of very talented black actors that can take up the mantle. And again, it's something that I know Chadwick would want. So I'm hoping that that really comes to fruition, man. I'm hoping that we end up seeing, a new T'Challa that we're all proud of and excited for very, very soon. It sounds like we will come the new Avengers movie. Doomsday, and then after Doomsday, we've got why is my brain not working? Secret Wars. So we'll get plenty of time with them to then round it out with the Black Panther 3. I think that will all be great. So I'm here for it. I think it'll be a good time, man. I'm just glad that this is back on the table, that this should have never been a thing where it was a permanent thing. It should have been just for a movie. And technically that's what we got. I just hate that the way that this was handled in all the other mediums is the problem. They made it seem like T'Challa is dead, period, across video games and animated shows and whatever. I'm glad that we're come back around on this. But let me know what you think. Give me your names, more names that you think that would fit T'Challa, who would fit the role, what you think about when he's coming back, all that good stuff. I want to know where your head is at, man. I would just genuinely love to hear what you were thinking. So with that, let's go on to our next story. We're going to continue talking about some characters that are coming to the MCU. Specifically, man, we got to talk about the X-Men and what could have been. Beau DeMayo was reportedly set to write and consult on the MCU's live-action reboot prior to his firing. This is from Mark Cassidy, a comic book movie. Marvel Studios/Disney fired the original X-Men 97 showrunner Beau DeMayo shortly before the animated revival show's world premiere. There are conflicting reports about what exactly occurred, but DeMayo is said to have been terminated for sending lewd photos to members of his staff, and there have been further allegations claiming that he was physically and sexually inappropriate with several of his colleagues. DeMayo has always denied this, suggesting that his firing was simply due to homophobia and claiming that he was stripped of his X-Men 97 Season 2 credit shortly after sharing some gay Pride Month fan art of himself in a skimpy Cyclops costume. But now we're hearing that Marvel may have intended for DeMayo to play a big role in the Mutants' eventual live-action MCU debut. YouTuber She Dreads Me believes DeMayo was set to write and consult on the upcoming X-Men reboot prior to his dismissal, and to ask him about it for confirmation. Sure enough, DeMayo then responded to a query about the project by claiming that the intention was for me to consult or write it before I made my civil rights complaints on Blade. Though Marvel does finally appear to be making progress on the elusive X-Men movie, official updates have been few and far between. All we know for sure is that, what does that say? What? Warning. What? Sorry. I just got a sudden warning uh from YouTube. I hope I didn't do something wrong. What wrong? Why you give me a warning, motherfucker? Sorry, I'm gonna get back to the story. I just need to figure out what's happening real quick. Oop, ba-doop, ba-doo. Just open studio. Let's see what it says. Chala. Oh, the bitrate is dropping. Ooh, okay. I get it. All right, sorry. Everything will be fine. We'll come back to the story. Sorry about that. Fucking we'll do it live type shit. Okay. Where were we? Though Marvel does finally appear to be making progress on the elusive X-Men movie, official updates have been few and far between. All we know for sure is that Michael Leslie is currently working on the script and that a director is being sought. Stranger Things alum Sadie Sink is rumored to be in contention for the role of Jean Grey, and we also heard that the studio is interested in Wicked star Cynthia Erivo for Storm. I don't love that. If some of the X-Men make their debut in the next Avengers movies, which they are rumored to do, there's a chance we could get some official casting news fairly soon. During a recent interview with Discussing Film, Kevin Feige was asked how it feels knowing that we're closer to seeing the X-Men and Avengers together on the big screen. It's extremely emotional on a personal level to have done a movie with Hugh after 25 years and me being a small part of that first X-Men movie, and knowing that thanks to various corporate studio and entity deals, we now have thousands of characters back. Characters I hadn't frankly thought about in many years because we didn't have the rights to them. Now that we do, it is great fun thinking about who we can finally include. Our animated series X-Men 97 was sort of the first taste of people reuniting with the X-Men mythology and that storyline. The response to that series just further excited us about how to bring the soap opera and the saga of the mutants to the MCU. All right, man. Let me pull this really quick. Look, man. Look. As far as things go with this, it really just feels of across the board that Bo DeMeo, who very clearly understands these characters better than most in this industry, it sounds like he really fumbled the bag. Like, now, again, we don't have whatever like full-on reports yet about what if Disney really is like dicking around or whatever it is, but everything that like it just feels like, I don't know, because he won't stop taking pop shots. Something feels like a situation of, instead of handling it in court, like if you had something to actually raise in court, you go file that shit, you get your bread. You know what I'm saying? File for wrongful termination, file for discrimination, all that kind of stuff. It feels like we haven't heard about any of those lawsuits. It just feels like we just keep hearing him running his mouth on stuff, man. And so like it's just one of those situations that like bums me out because, again, he is so talented. And there's only, like, the thing that people don't realize, especially with him having been a showrunner for Disney, there's only so many showrunners, let alone black showrunners, let alone gay black male showrunners that are out here doing it, man. And for it to not work out is depressing. It's kind of sucks. And again, because he understood the fucking assignment. Like, X-Men 97 ended up being, I believe, if not my number one, I have to go back and look at my list, at least my top two favorite shows of last year. It was fucking fantastic, man. And he really was bringing the sauce with these characters. So it sucks to hear that. I think he would have done a really great job bringing great ideas to the live action element of it. But at the same time, I am not entirely surprised. What's going on, Buck's Thoughts? Good to see you. I see Joe Schmo talking about T'Challa. That's what's up. But yeah, it genuinely makes me sad that this was something that did not work out, and it's because of bullshit. Either bullshit on both sides or bullshit on Disney's side, but some sort of bullshit one way or the other, and it fucking sucks, man. But let me know what you think. Like, do you think that there's other great X-Men writers out there that can handle the task, or are you like, nope, that's it, that was our only chance, we're fucked, it's all gone? Just wrap it up already, man. Hopefully nobody's thinking that. But with that, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will reiterate once again, we've got a small thing that we're running here. Let me pull up the Streamlabs as well. If we get to 15 super chats, super thanks for the post, or Streamlabs, then I will wear Commanders gear during their playoff game this year and this week and do all their shit. And if we get to 30, then my black ass will be out here in these motherfucking streets in Eagle shit, just talking about fly Eagles fly and all that shit. So it's out there. Do with it what you will. No pressure one way or the other. Just thought I would share. But with that, let's go on and move to our next story, man. All right. Back to a more serious topic. Neil Gaiman has denied the recent allegations and said that he's never engaged in non-consensual sexual activity with anyone. This is Mark Cassidy from Comic Book Movie reporting. Yesterday, New York Magazine published an in-depth piece titled "There is No Safe Word," which outlined in disturbing detail new allegations of sexual assault that have been made against acclaimed comic book and novel writer Neil Gaiman. This follows earlier accusations from 5 women, 4 of whom were interviewed for the new article, that came to light last year. A police report was filed, but the investigation was ultimately dropped. We're not going to go into the sickening events described in the piece, but if you do decide to read it, you'll find it on a non-paywall version. If you go to Comic Book Movie and open up this article, you can see that. But be warned, it contains a number of graphic descriptions of sexual assault. Now, Gaiman, who is best known for his work on The Sandman, as well as the likes of American Gods, Good Omens, and The Ocean at the End of the Lane, has now shared a lengthy response to his personal blog in which he denies all the allegations against him. As I read through this latest collection of accounts, there are moments I half recognize and moments I don't. Descriptions of things that happened sitting beside things that emphatically did not happen. I'm far from a perfect person, but I have never engaged in non-consensual sexual activity with anyone ever. I went back to read the messages I exchanged with the women around and following the occasions that have subsequently been reported as being abusive. These messages read now as they did when I received them, of 2 people enjoying entirely consensual sexual relationships and wanting to see one another again. At the time I was in those relationships, they seemed positive and happy on both sides. And I also realized, looking through them years later, that I could have and should have done so much better. I was emotionally unavailable while being sexually available, self-focused and not as thoughtful as I could or should have been. I was obviously careless with people's hearts and feelings, and that's something that I really deeply regret. It was selfish of me. I was caught up in my own story and I ignored other people's. I've spent some months now taking a long, hard look at who I have been and how I have made people feel. Like most of us, I'm learning, and I'm trying to do the work needed, and I know that that's not an overnight process. I hope that with the help of good people, I'll continue to grow. I understand that not everyone will believe me or even care what I say, but I'll be doing the work anyway for myself, my family, and the people I love. I'll be doing my very best to deserve their trust as well as the trust of my readers. At the same time, as I reflect on my past and as I re-review everything that actually happened as opposed to what is being alleged, I don't accept there was any abuse. To repeat, I have never engaged in non-consensual sexual activity with anyone. Some of the horrible stories now being told simply never happened, while others have been so distorted from what actually took place that they bear no relationship to reality. I'm prepared to take responsibility for any missteps I made. I'm not willing to turn my back on the truth, and I can't accept being described as someone I am not, and cannot and will not admit to doing things I didn't do. There are a number of projects based on Gaiman's work on the horizon, including the 2nd season of Sandman at Netflix, the Amazon miniseries Anansi Boys, and the concluding 90-minute episode of Good Omens. It's unclear if any of them will be impacted. Now, if you or someone you know has been the victim of sexual assault, you can contact RAIN's National Sexual Assault Hotline, confidential 24/7 support by you can go to their website, or you can call 800-656-HOPE. That's 800-656-4673. All right, man. So, one, we know that, that there's no police investigation going forward. It looks like it was dropped at this particular point. And at this point, it is a he said, she said, since there's nothing on the table as far as investigation and things like that. And that being said, man, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know how to feel one way or the other about the whole situation. It was very graphic stuff that was laid out in the original article. Um, Everything that Neil said here did not admit any guilt. Admitted that maybe he effed up as far as a partner. Um, I don't know, man. This whole thing makes me feel icky. I don't ever use that word, which just goes to show how much it's got me fucked up. I brought it up in the first place. Like I said, I believe that we need to listen to all victims, listen to all women, listen to all men, listen to everybody's story when they say some stuff like that, but then believe all facts. I was saying I really wanted to wait and see what the police investigation and any lawsuits or criminal charges would have brought up. They're not being, the investigation has been dropped. I don't know. Regardless, one way or the other, it's hard for me to look at him the same at all, especially from the standpoint of the language he used seems so at times legal and kind of putting up a barrier that there's a part of me that feels like I feel like there's maybe something under there, whether it is to the extreme of what those stories are or not. It feels like they're, where there's smoke, there's fire type situation. But I don't know Neil as a person. I don't. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like people can't make stuff up. It certainly happens. We talked about the potential of apparently Joy Taylor saying that, if she felt like she was going to get fired or something like that from, the Dixon, I think is his name, Charlie Dixon over at Fox Sports, that she would say that she was, forced to hook up with him or anything like that. So it wouldn't be the first time that people have said stuff like that. Like, I'm not going to compare this to like an Emmett Till situation, but people make up stuff. But I'm trying to tell you, there's something about this. There's just something under the surface. And especially when you kind of look at the art that Gaiman puts out there, something's afoot, man. But I'm curious what y'all think, man. Do you believe? Do you take Neil Gaiman at his word? Do you take the women at their word? Obviously, the old saying is, there's his side, there's her side, and then there's the truth somewhere in between. I really feel like it's somewhere in there, but I'm more inclined to lean more towards the women, just because you had 5 different women talking about it, and that's some real graphic stuff. They really made that up entirely, man, bro. Those are some sick people to do that. But I don't know. I honestly am very curious what you think. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the comments, man, where you fall on this entire thing, one way or the other. And let's go on to another story that is started off sad, but for me had a very happy ending personally. Now, if you're not familiar with this fuckface, this dude right here, Ryan Caldwell, is an asshole Eagles fan that decided he wanted to talk absolute crazy shit to a Packers fan, this woman that was at the Packers-Eagles playoff game this past weekend. I'm going to actually show you the video. Let me pull that up really quick. Because I think we should talk about how much of a dick this guy is. And I understand I'm running a risk by playing this that I might get demonetized because of the language, but I think it's important. So let's see here. There it is. So if I do that, okay. Oh, it's locked. Just gonna slide that bad boy right there. Okay, here we go. So, um, yeah, I will say this, man. Because there was a lot of people that had. Oh, let me tell you the story. I totally forgot. I didn't tell you the whole how this all played out. That's hilarious. So, the Philadelphia Eagles fan who berated, this is from TMZ Sports, who berated a Packers supporter during Sunday's playoff game is out of the job. His employer just announced he has been fired as a result of the viral moment. BCT Partners, a consulting firm that specializes in DEI services and solutions, announced the move Tuesday night, saying project manager Ryan Caldwell's words during the altercation with the female cheesehead was highly offensive and misogynistic, which goes against the company's values. The firm decided to cut ties after an internal personal investigation and slammed Caldwell on his way out. We condemn our former employee's conduct in the strongest possible terms, BCT Partners said in a statement. This individual's conduct and language were vile, disgusting, unacceptable, and horrific and have no place in our workplace and society. Such conduct is not who we are and not what we stand for. The firm went on to say it offered Caldwell grace and support, as no one should be remembered for actions taken on our worst day. As we previously reported, Caldwell was caught on video. We just saw it unleashing on a Green Bay fan during the Eagles' 22-10 win in the wild card round, calling her, you heard it, in the process, and the Philadelphia organization swiftly kickstarted the punishment process. All right, so yeah, the other thing about it that they didn't list here, or maybe they did and I glossed over it and didn't even realize that. But yeah, he's also been banned from Eagles games. He can no longer go to Eagles games whatsoever. So this stupid, ugly, dumb cunt fucked around and found out. All right? You decided to run your mouth off at somebody. Nobody says that you don't talk shit at games. It happens all the time. But why the fuck are you talking to this woman like that? How fucking dare you, you stupid bitch? Like, real talk, man. You could have been like, hey, well, it wasn't a touchdown. Like, nothing to celebrate about. Like, yeah, people rib each other at games. It is what it is. But the minute you thought that that was fucking okay, and this is where specifically, I get it. I know that not every single Eagles fan is like this, but this is where literally most of us that hate the Eagles, not just because it's a division rival thing, well, we get these thoughts about fucking Philly fans because every time you get a chance to present yourself, you do some stupid shit like this. Now, I know that not every Eagles fan is like that. I'm not going to go out here and say all that shit, but this is that weird swath of whatever, like to the point where I remember one time me just being in LA wearing a fucking Cowboys jersey. The types of N-words, like people bringing out all sorts of just horrible shit. Crispity, crackety, coon, like just all sorts of just nonsense. Literally because I'm in a Cowboys jersey. Not like there's no reason to be talking to me like that whatsoever, but literally for that. You want to talk about my team is trash. You want to be like, good luck with Dak or Mike McCarthy, you know, Jerry Jones, whatever. Hell, if you made a race joke about Jerry Jones because of Arkansas talking about, well, if you want to support Mass's team, that shit would have been funny because that's some real shit. But no, it's not that shit. And then same thing. You want to make fun of the fact that, like, yo, Aaron Rodgers and came, took ayahuasca, fucked your team up, and this is where you at. Like, anything like that, that would have been one thing. But you decided to literally be a piece of shit. And there was a number of people online that were like, yo, this dude ain't a real man. That's your fiance, and you ain't fight that motherfucker. No, I am not going to be in a stadium full of drunk Philly fans who have been known to get aggressive. And most of them would not have heard this conversation. They would have seen a Packer fan throw the first punch, trying to defend his woman. And then the next thing you know, he and his woman are getting their ass beat, maybe even killed over drunken assholes getting in the mix, being like, you're not going to do that to a fucking Eagle fan, bitch. Nah, fuck that noise. I'm doing the same shit, bro. I probably switch seats with my girl and be like, let me get a little bit closer, baby. You sit over here. You can go fuck yourself, dude. Get out my face. And if he keeps doing it, and the whole thing is like, hey, nigga, you on candid camera, bitch. Don't worry, you gonna get yours. Like, but I would keep the swearing to a minimum for the same fucking reason. That video, as far as that evidence went, Eagle said, go fuck yourself. You're not one of us. You're out. You don't get to go to these games no more, which is hilarious. And B, his job, for a job that's supposedly supposed to be about inclusion, bro. Yeah, nah, fuck that shit. Now, people are like, oh, it's not fair just because he was drunk, you know, is whatever. I'll agree with what the company said. Grace and support in the fact that, like, we should not let the actions of our absolute worst day be the full thing that defines us. You would want to give someone grace to improve, do better, not be that person anymore. That's fine, but not right now. Right now, go fuck yourself, bro, and you got exactly what you deserve. And this doesn't mean that he'll never get another job again, but if you fucked up a good job because you don't know how to hold yourself, do you understand that that's the case with anything? TV shows, movies, politicians, whatever. If you fuck up too much in public, you represent a company, a country, whatever the fuck else. So yeah, you have the freedom. You will not, he was not arrested for talking like this. That's where free speech comes in. You cannot be prosecuted for going around talking about dumb cunt this or whatever the fuck else. You sound like a piece of shit, but you're not going to be prosecuted for it. But that does not mean that an employer has to employ you. They could say, you do not stand for the things that we stand for. Get the fuck out. The team that allowed you to come and cheer them on can say, you do not stand for what our organization stands for. Get the fuck out. So, no, I do not feel bad. To my knowledge, this dude's address and all that shit was not doxxed. It's just that his name got out there and where he worked. And those are both, like, and now to that degree, he doesn't have the job that he had, and he doesn't get to support the Eagles in person. And the funniest thing about that shit, people were like, well, how are they even going to be able to check? Well, one, unfortunately, since we're going closer and closer into Animal Farm, this dystopian 1984 fucking scenario where they fucking face scan you in every goddamn place. But you got to remember, knowing, what up, Matt? Good to see you, bro. Knowing how everything is connected, the Apple Pay, the tap your card here, he would literally need to come in under mask, which they're not going to let you do as far as that goes. Even if it's cold, they're not going to let you walk in with a motherfucking mask. You have to pay with cash the whole motherfucking time. Oh, they did a doctor's address. I don't agree with that. That I will say is going a step too far. There is no reason that his address needed to get doxxed. That is bullshit. If you wanted to dox where he works, just as far as calling it out to his employer, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You're representing a company. That it is what it is. Unless it's your own company, I guess. But it's not. They dox his address, that's fucked up. I'm not for that. But the rest of it, I stand by what I said. Fuck you. You're gonna act like a piece of shit like that in public, then get bent, bro. And I get it. Sometimes we have a bad fucking day, but that's a little bit different. That was, I'm drunk at a game and I'm going to actively call someone out of their name for not doing anything. If she had been saying all sorts of heinous shit to him, being like, oh, you fucking Philly fox, you dumb, like if she had been going off, you fucking ugly, you fucking chode bitch, like if she had going off on him and this is what he was returning back in kind, different conversation. It's not what was going on. Unless there's some video that he needs to show and get it off his chest. Otherwise, go fuck yourself, bro. You got exactly what you deserve, minus the address doxing. But let me know what you think. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you think that justice was due, if this man fucked around and found out, or if you think it went a little bit too far, I would love to know your thoughts. And again, as I mentioned a couple of times, if you want to throw in a Streamlab or a Super Chat, you can. We do have those goals, 15 for the Commanders stuff, 30 for the Eagles stuff, especially after reaming into the Eagles like this. I really don't want to do that shit, but it is what it is. So for our last story, man, we got to talk about one of the biggest shakeups in sports. We saw, not this, though. That's definitely part of it. We saw the firing of head coach Mike McCarthy from the Dallas Cowboys. Now, this was written by me. So here we go. The Dallas Cowboys fired head coach Mike McCarthy after 5 seasons with the team. While having 3 12-5 seasons, McCarthy only produced a 1-3 postseason record and continued the Cowboys' mediocrity and has remained and continued the Cowboys' mediocrity that it has remained in since the 90s run of 3 championships. With a number of coaches already off the board in new jobs, here are 5 potential candidates who could take up the head coaching mantle. So I actually want to start with a honorable mention who did indeed get an interview, but I think he is, outside of my top 5 of who I would want. First one would be Robert Saleh. Now, team-wise, he is formerly of the New York Jets. He was fired mid-season this past year, and he was formerly the head coach. Now, per NFL Network's Ian Rappaport, the Cowboys have interest in and are expected to interview former New York Jets head coach Robert Saleh for the head coaching opening, which would mark their first interview request so far. Saleh was fired from his position after the Jets' 2-3 start to the 2024 season, but the team struggled immensely in his absence. New York limped to a 5-12 finish and extended its playoff drought to 14 straight years, the longest streak in any of the 4 major men's North American sports leagues. God damn. The Jets' nosedive after Salah's firing appears to bode well for his chances to secure another head coaching job this hiring cycle. The Jacksonville Jaguars announced on Tuesday that they completed an interview with the 45-year-old, and Rappaport reported that he will interview with the Las Vegas Raiders on Thursday. ESPN's Nick Wagner also named him as a candidate to take his old job as defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. The Athletic's Zach Rosenblatt explained that Saleh has a legitimate chance to land the Jacksonville opening and will be considered by other teams with head coaching vacancies. I don't necessarily think that he would be the best fit one way or the other. I don't hate the idea of a defensive-minded coach, but I didn't get the vibe, whether it's because he was able to get bullied around by Aaron Rodgers or Woody Johnson, which is his own whole situation. You're going into another Woody Johnson situation by dealing with Jerry Jones. And so as much as my girlfriend would love it because she has been calling Saleh Zaddy, him and Sean McVay, whatever the fuck. I don't get the vibe that he's like a leader of men in that regard, or that he is in that place with the head coaching position to handle it. And maybe he is, but he isn't under a level of distraction from ownership that will fuck with him, is kind of the vibe I'm getting. I know that the Jets are a dumpster fire, but let's be honest, the Cowboys are too. And if he didn't do well with one interfering owner, I don't think he'll do well with another. So that's why he makes the honorable mention for me. Up next, we have Cliff Kingsbury. Now, he is currently with the Washington Commanders as their offensive coordinator. Now, this other offensive mind that Dallas could take a look at is Kingsbury, who does have prior NFL head coaching experience. Now, although the Cardinals didn't find much success as a franchise during his tenure at 28, 37, and 1, Kingsbury has been considered a quarterback whisperer throughout his career. Prescott isn't much of a dual threat, but Kingsbury has led strong offenses led by Kyler Murray and Jaden Daniels to success. This season, Washington finished third in rushing yards per game at 154.1 and fifth in points per game at 28.5. If Jones is willing to give him another shot at head coaching, Kingsbury would bring experience and a proven offensive success to Dallas. Plus, the Cowboys would be poaching a strong coach away from one of their division rivals in the process, which would be the anti of what just happened with us losing Dan Quinn. Yeah, I'm not opposed to it. I could see a world where we end up with Kingsbury as the head coach, but I don't know. I didn't really love his run in Arizona. I feel like we need a lot of work, so I really need to feel strongly that whoever's coming in there is going to put their motherfucking foot down. It's why I really liked Tomlin as an option, but he's been very clear he's not going fucking anywhere. So to stop with that nonsense. Great offensive mind for sure, and it would be a blow to Washington if you do it, but I don't know. There's a reason why it's number 5 on my list. All right, number 4. This is Kellen Moore. Let me try that again. Number 4. I have the photo ready. It's Kellen Moore, and he is currently with the Philadelphia Eagles as their offensive coordinator. Moore isn't considered one of the premier head coaching candidates of this cycle, but he could be an intriguing name for Dallas specifically. Jones may value the connection his potential candidate has to the Cowboys, and Moore certainly has prior experience in Dallas. Moore was a backup quarterback for the Cowboys from 2015 to 2017. The left-handed passer started in 3 games for Dallas at the end of the 2015 regular season, throwing for 435 yards in the team's final matchup against Washington. After retiring from playing football in 2018, Moore became Dallas's new quarterbacks coach, and he was later promoted to offensive coordinator in 2019. After the Cowboys fell out of the playoffs in January of 2023, Moore parted ways with the franchise. He spent the 2023 season as the Chargers offensive coordinator before becoming the Eagles offensive coordinator this season. With his roots in Dallas, Moore could be an interesting candidate for the Cowboys. He's found offensive success in both Los Angeles and Philadelphia, considering Moore just spent the 2024 season leading Saquon Barkley to 2,000-plus rushing yards. He could be a great offensive leader for Dallas if it chooses to draft Heisman runner-up Ashton Genty, who is coming out of Moore's alma mater, Boise State. All right. The reason why I'm going to put him at number 4 is bro got fired. I think unjustly fired, but he got fired. So I can understand him being like, I don't want to go back. Even if I did have, success there and whatnot. Why I still like him for the job is because we were extremely successful as an offense airing the ball out when he was our offensive coordinator. I would argue probably a better source of scoring and offense when he was around. So that is certainly something to be considered. But yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. I don't necessarily know. I think it'd be a little soon. I don't know if he's necessarily ready to become a head coach. Maybe. Um I'm not necessarily that there's a reason why he's lower on my list. But yeah, it's definitely an option. If he wants to come back home, like again, he has a long tenure and maybe he left on good terms with uh, you know, with Jerry and he's just like, it is what it is. I'll go get another job. But on to number three. My number three pick is Aaron Glenn. This is the defensive coordinator currently for the Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit's other coordinator, Glenn, is getting just as many head coaching looks as his counterpart, Ben Johnson, and for similar reasons. The Lions defense, which just held a strong Viking squad to just 9 points in Week 18, finished the regular season 7th in points per game allowed at 20.1, despite dealing with a lot of injuries. Similar to Ben Johnson, Glenn doesn't have prior head coaching experience, but he's also coached under some of the game's best, like Campbell and Sean Payton. If Jones is willing to overlook a lack of prior head coaching experience, either Lions coordinator would be a strong choice. Considering Dallas ranked 28th in the NFL with 355.2 yards allowed per game this season, a defensive-minded head coach won't be a bad idea. Glenn, 52 years old, will likely get a shot in a top role at some point, and he could be a strong fit to lead a team that boasts pieces like Parsons, Deron Bland, and Trayvon Diggs. I'm going to be real. This is in my top three, one of my favorite choices, and that specifically is from the standpoint of I think that the Cowboys operate best when we have a lockdown fucking defense and an offense that gets the job done. Nobody's saying you don't like high flying offense. Of course you do, but there is something about the DeMarcus Ware days of a couple years ago where like Dak in the offense was good, but like you had Diggs going to break the record for most TD or interceptions in a season. You had Bland turning around and getting the most pick sixes in a season by an individual. Like you just have a lot of like genuinely generational defensive talent, but they're just not being led in the right way. And Dan Quinn had them whipped into shape to do stuff. Aaron Glenn, to be able to do this with all the injuries the Lions have faced, and they faced a lot, would absolutely fucking crush the job. I genuinely think he would do a good job. And he gives me the same kind of vibes that I get off of a Tomlin where like a no nonsense, we're going to make this shit fucking happen, man. So I actually really love that choice. I hope that is a serious contention. But part of the problem with firing Mike McCarthy just a couple of days ago, because of the playoffs, there was a window to interview him, and he's already potentially interviewed all of the teams that can look at him. You can't do it now because now he's focused on the fucking playoffs. So I just fucking Jerry, man. All right, let's go to my number two pick. It is the other Lions coordinator. That's Ben Johnson, also of the Detroit Lions. He's the offensive coordinator. Johnson has become arguably the most well-known NFL coordinator to not yet take the leap into a head coaching role. He joined the Lions as an offensive quality control coach in 2019, but quickly climbed the ranks before becoming Detroit's offensive coordinator in 2022. Under head coach Dan Campbell, Johnson's offense has become one of the league's best. He's helped quarterback Jared Goff find a career resurgence with reliable weapons like wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown and tight end Sam Laporta, and also built a dominant run game between a strong offensive line and a dynamic running back duo of Sonic and Knuckles, also known as Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. Because of the Lions' offensive success en route to some playoff appearances, Johnson was considered a high-ranking candidate in the Commanders and Seahawks head coaching searches in 2024, but he instead returned to Detroit for another season. Johnson would bring an offensive background to Dallas, would likely be an expensive hire with how desired he's been as a candidate, but with some strong offensive weapons already in place like Prescott and Lamb, Johnson could help the Cowboys become a dominant offensive team once again. Yeah, again, I really, really like what he does. You took a quarterback in Jared Goff who is, in my opinion, I kept saying that I could never trust him, and I thought he was mid at best, was something that I would say about him. And now I got to put respect on his name. He has fully revitalized himself. Essentially what we thought was happening with Sam Darnold, and that kind of fell off, but we have seen with like Geno Smith in Seattle, and there was one other big name I feel like this year that was having a resurgence. Oh, Baker Mayfield down in Tampa Bay. You just need to get the right situation. And I think Jared Goff found the right situation with the right coaches around him and the right like support in his teammates, like weapons and belief in him. And he's balling out of control and was in the MVP conversation for a while. Like won games with 5 interceptions to his name, bro. Like that to me is because he has strong coaching. It's not just his will. It's you have someone like Ben Johnson giving him the right plays to make it happen and getting him ways to really look good. So I really, really like this as an option. If he wants to consider us, I will not say no. But now I have to give my number 1 pick. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I got to be honest. I think it'll be the best way to go. It's primetime Deion Sanders, man. Now, he currently is the head coach of the Colorado University Buffaloes. Deion Sanders, a.k.a. Primetime, is a Hall of Fame NFL player and former star for the Dallas Cowboys. He is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, a former Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time Pro Bowler, a part of both the 1990s All-Decade Team and the 100th Anniversary All-Time Team. He started coaching high school football back in 2012 and was an on-again, off-again coach until 2020 when he took the head coaching job at Jackson State and HBCU. He was there for 3 years and led the team to a 27-6 record. And then in 2023, he moved over to Colorado University, where he has been the head coach for 2 seasons, turning the once 1-11 team the year before he got there into a 4-8 team in his first season, and then a 9-4 team and tied for first in the Big 12 this past season. Notably, his son Shedeur Sanders and wide receiver, cornerback, phenom, and Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter have been with him since Jackson State and are both entering the NFL draft. Deion has stated he wouldn't want to coach in the NFL unless he had the opportunity to coach his sons. Reports say that Deion has spoken with Cowboys owner Jerry Jones about potentially taking the job. However, Deion has had this to say during the Monday night Vikings-Rams playoff game. I love Cowboys owner Jerry Jones and believe in Jerry. After you hang up and process it and think about it, it's intriguing, but I love Boulder and everything there is about our team, the coaches, our student body, and the community. And this doesn't mean a lot considering Deion said something similar when he was asked about leaving Jackson State. Rumors are also further fueled by the fact that Deion's quarterback son, Shedeur Sanders, was seen courtside on Tuesday at the Dallas Mavericks' home loss of 118-99 against the Denver Nuggets, spurring on thoughts of full-time residency in Dallas for the Sanders family once again. But only time will tell. Yeah, man, here's the thing. Prime time is motherfucking prime time. And the one thing that a coach that's going to come in here is going to need to be able to do is you're going to need to, A, be able to be a leader of men. All head coaches should be able to do that. But B, you got to be able to deal with Jerry. You have got to be able to deal with Jerry. Now, what worries me a little bit is you bring in this all-time great in prime time, and if they butt heads and Jerry then wants to fire him and what all that can mean. But I think Deion is one of the few people that truly understands how Jerry works, how he ticks. And he's one of the few people that because he is a star in his own right, he's prime time, man, that he would be okay. I genuinely think that he would be able to handle it. And that by itself is enough for me to actually give credence to this. And a lot of that is based upon what is available. If you had asked me prior, my top picks would have been Bill Belichick first and then Mike Tomlin second. They're both not options because Bill Belichick took the job at UNC to become the head coach of North Carolina over there. And obviously, Mike Tomlin says he's not going anywhere. So with both of them out of the picture, you just need someone that can handle Jerry's ego. That's not only a good coach. You obviously need a good coach. But, you know, he could put a good staff together, all that kind of stuff. You have plenty of weapons, all that kind of stuff. The other thing that worries me, though, about having Deion go here, he said it very clearly. He wants to be, if he's going to coach in the NFL, he wants to be able to coach his son. I am terrified that they're going to leverage God knows what to go get Shedeur, who would then most likely sit behind Dak for a while because you just paid Dak all that fucking money. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. That just means that gives Shador time to really learn behind Dak, a second team All Pro. Second in MVP voting last year, not this year that just ended, but the year before, the 2023-2024 season. So those are all positives. But what we might leverage to do that in the draft could cripple us for years to come, and that worries me too. So all I can say is there's a reason I am semi-retired, as I keep saying this about the Cowboys. I care, but I will not be held hostage every Sunday or Monday or Thursday or whatever fucking day we're playing by their shit. At this point, they're going to need to prove to me that, like, I can have some faith in them, that they'll get the job done. And that's not even saying winning a Super Bowl right away, man. Just get me to an NFC Championship game. Get me a game within the big game. Show that it's not a one and done situation if we're ever going to win it. And it has to be a weak opponent that's ended up in the playoffs and we kind of backpedal our way into a victory, man. Show me that you got the motherfucking sauce. And then I can let my heart lead a little bit more. But my head has told me enough. I'm not going to fall for that shit anymore. But I am very curious what you think. Who you think the best coach for the Cowboys would be. Let me know down in the comments, man. Let me double check and make sure. All right. And that is going to do it for this episode of the Blerd Breakdown. Thank you so much for everybody that rocked with me, that watched the whole show. I really genuinely appreciate it, man. On some personal news, on a good news tip, man, we have been, I think I mentioned that we're in a situation where we have to move. We had like a horrible situation last night. There have been a number of break-ins into our building, unfortunately, but last night somebody came through and smashed a bunch of car windows and stole shit out of people's cars. I'm very grateful. I didn't have anything tempting to them in there, but like I had a neighbor who was moving out, and he had just started loading his car up. He had stopped to go eat dinner and came back down. They had busted his window out and stolen his backpack with his computer and personal effects and all that kind of stuff. It was fucking awful. One of our other neighbors, she speaks English, but like certainly as it's clear English is a second language for her. And I was trying to just explain to her, because our building has told nobody. I know because I had another neighbor text me, be like, bro, some shit went down. We just saw it. Our building has not informed the rest of the people. So this woman walked down to go see her car and to see it was smashed out like that. We just had to try and explain what was going on and offer our support however we could. So we got to get the fuck up out of here. That's one of the many reasons why I got to go. I'll give you the full story once I finally can. But it's time to get out. And we saw some really dope places today. And we may potentially have found the one. I'm going to knock on wood. I don't want to jinx it. Got a couple others we want to look at. But this is a very high contender. So I'm excited about that. I say all that to say we are still on schedule for everything. But if something comes up where we do, the spot is locked in and we have to move, I will still be bringing you content. I'm going to pre-record as much stuff as I can, but if there's a little gap in that time, or if the quality comes down a little bit because I'm just doing everything from my laptop, just understand that that's what's kind of going on for the time being. But I'm excited to step forward with that. If you haven't already, go check out my Daredevil trailer reaction. I did that earlier today. That show looks like fucking fire. Flames. I cannot wait for it. This is going to be the last Blerd Breakdown of this week, but it doesn't mean it'll be the end of me streaming. I will most likely be streaming some Marvel Rivals over on Twitch. Maybe tomorrow, depends on timing. Maybe tonight, depends on timing. I need to go eat dinner and debrief with the lady. But I'll keep an eye out for that. I'll always announce on social media when that's happening. Capes and Cows on Friday. I also am going to be talking to Roka. We're going to figure out about potentially playoff game time as well as spill the tequila. And then, the reactions are coming soon. Let me do this right now before I forget because I clearly forgot last night. Let me go ahead and pull up motherfucking YouTube studio shit. And then let me type a post. Boop, boop, do. Okay. I will be starting reactions on the channel in the next week or two. What movies or shows let's start with movies. What movies would you like to see me do a reaction to? Let me know down below. All right, and post. So go to that post or put it in the comments of this video. Let me know what reactions you would like to see me do. There was the white dog one that someone mentioned on Capes and Cows, which is apparently about retraining a racist dog. It is a horror movie. I actually kind of fucks with that, so I'm here for that. I've talked about doing Braveheart because I haven't seen that before. I can tell you some of the ones that I already have listed here. Both Blade Runner and Blade Runner 49, excuse me. The Crow, the original Crow, and then the White Dog was the other one. There's some other ones that I will list out here, and once we have like a solid list, I will put up a poll and we'll see which ones we do first. I will say I am going to be aiming to do I'm going to rewatch the Daredevil series. So we will do that, which will be a lot of fun. So I'm very excited about that. What up, Travis? Thank you for coming in. I'm wrapping it up right now, but I appreciate you. But yeah, I am very excited about the more content I'm bringing to this, and as not only the channel gets its life together, or I get my life together via the channel, I'm excited about the idea of once I also get my personal stuff together, that we can get out of this building that has been providing, it provided a nice home for us, but it provided a lot of stress, and I'm looking forward to fully shedding that skin, man, and moving on to something new. And something great, and really bringing in new, amazing stuff into my life. If you haven't already, I have to highly recommend Lil Jon's Manifestation fucking album, bro. That shit go hard, okay? And my girlfriend thought I was kind of laughed at me about it, but we did it on the way to go see some of these apartments, and then found what we think might be our perfect spot. So check it out, Lil Jon. That's this free shout out to Lil Jon. He's not paying me for his Manifestation album. That shit go hard. But with that, check out one of these other videos right here, man. I am going to get out of here. I will see y'all on the flip. Y'all be safe, and I will see you soon, man. Peace, motherfuckers.